here we are at another episode of Inspired Good Fat Life, and we have a really kind of, I don't want to say heavy topic today, but it's an important one, and it's full of hope, and I'm so delighted by our guest. But first, I have to do my shameless promotion of Good Fat Life magazine, and it's full of amazing, wonderful things to surprise and delight, and also just maybe have you thinking a little bit differently. We're in the middle of just our next issues going to print here in the next week. So there's like this flurry of activity, which is always stressful and so exciting at the same time. So that said, you can go to goodfatlife.com and check us out. Now I want to introduce my guest, Charlene Bush from Two Men in a Truck.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
I know. Good day.
I like that. Yeah. That works.
Good. That works. And just a little history. I was cleaning out a bunch of stuff in my office this last, well, actually, I wasn't. I had the Betty Brigade came, and they really helped me because I kept thinking, I'll do it. Well, it never happens. And so anyway, they're amazing, but they put these things like for me to review, and in it was a watch that I got from Two Men in a Truck.
Really?
Yeah, years and years and years ago when I was in the corporate world, and Two Men in a Truck was one of my accounts.
I love that.
And I always loved the story of how Two Men in a Truck came to be and the vision of your owners. And her name has just escaped me.
Mary Ellen Sheets.
Mary Ellen Sheets, that's right. And so anyways, it's no surprise to me from knowing her and what she did and what she cared about that Two Men in a Truck has a program that we're going to be talking about today, right?
Yes. Yep.
So why don't you tell me about it, Charlene?
Well, we do a spring campaign every year. Every franchise participates, and it's called Movers for Moms. And we, in each market, align ourselves with a shelter. We like to work with a shelter that is helping women who are in crisis situation, abandonment, abuse, things like that. And so that's a tough place to be. And a lot of times you're leaving home in the middle of the night, you're grabbing just whatever's on your back, grabbing your kids, and you're getting out. And so these shelters need our help. So everything that they do relies on donations and fundraising. And so we like to come alongside leading up to Mother's Day and collect essential care items. So a lot of times it's, personal things like toothbrushes and toothpaste and shampoo and deodorant and things that, a lot of times you take for granted. And
right.
Being able to provide those things for a shelter, and then they can in turn, use the funds that they're collecting to do some of the bigger things like counseling and relocation and, helping people write resumes and basically get their life back where it needs to go.
So, and there's often kids involved with this as well, too, right?
Yes.
Well, when I heard about it, I heard about it last year, and it's everybody that I tell is just like, how can I help? How can I help? And they want to know. And so I know you have boxes that you put in businesses.
We do. Right? So my ask, if I can put in a shameless plug for this campaign. So it goes through the end of the first week of May. And so what I'm looking for and hoping for are community partners. So businesses that would be willing to say, hey, bring me a box, I'll leave it here, and then we'll do what we can on our end to help collect these items. And then on my end, we're doing all of the social. So I'm doing promotions, I'm tagging the community partners that I have and letting the community know where can they go to drop items off and what types of items can they be dropping off. And then we wrap everything up. We pick up all of those boxes around the end of the first week of May. And then we like to say we deliver on Mother's Day, but we don't really deliver on Sunday. But the next day, we're out at, in Livingston County, it's going to be La Casa. That's who we've come alongside for the last, oh my gosh, I'm not even sure how many years. But that is our shelter partner. And so that is who we are collecting for. And so then we'll get those items delivered to them the Monday after Mother's Day.
Okay, that's great. La Casa is an amazing. They came. We did a workshop. One of the things with Good Fat Life that we love to do is immersives. And so we don't want our community, building community, we don't want to just be a magazine that you look at and you put in your magazine pile. We want to create experiences so that people can really feel what it feels like to write in their journal or to do fun movements, or to connect with people in a deeper way, or cook great, good foods, right?
Sounds fabulous.
It is. They are so much fun. But look, we always have a charity that we support that's women-centric, and La Casa was our charity this time. And so it just felt so good to be able to take what people are contributing and give it to them. And
I love that you do that too.
Yeah, that was the whole, with Good Fat Life, our whole platform is connecting, right? So having a space where we can talk about goods and services that people are providing, like doing in a truck with Moms Who Care?
Movers for Moms.
Movers for Moms. But Movers Who Care is your tagline, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Movers for Moms. But that we can provide a platform to connect.
Because it's so important. I think that, really in order to have that information to be able to go out there, but also just to know that there's people there supporting you and that are caring, and just to have that voice. I think there's a lot of people out in the community that really want to help, but we don't know what we don't know. And your magazine is a great way for people to kind of put those things together. Where can I go and how can I help? And how can I show up better in these places? Like you talk about, cooking well and journaling and all of the things that are so important when it comes to taking care of ourselves so that we can serve our community in a better way. And our community sometimes is right in our own home. But in all of those things, I just love what you guys do. I love your message.
Oh, well, thank you. But it's so true, right? And I get kind of hung up on the self-care because it's kind of had this perception that it's something outside, like you do as a indulgence. Like you have your nails done or you do something. But self-care is really, at the heart of it, it's really putting that mask on, that oxygen mask on when there's no air.
Yes.
Because if we can't take care of ourselves, how can we support the people around us well?
Yeah,
right?
And I'm learning that now for myself in where I'm at. And I think for so long, that wasn't a thought for me. It was just, how do I just keep going? And you can't if you're not taking that space and just taking that breath.
I remember when my kids were teenagers, we had moved across the country, and somebody had gifted me with a massage, and it was a Saturday. And I remember the masseuse was saying, "You are a mess." Right?
Thank you. Yeah. That's just what I wanted to hear.
You are a mess. And I remember crying, and she goes, "Well, can't you do this and can't you do that?" And I'm like, "No, I can't do any of that." Right. Because life was just so between, work and the kids and homework and all the stuff that you have to do, and trying to give back to the community a little bit. And I realized in retrospect, my thinking was really all backwards.
Right.
But I just didn't know how to be different. I didn't know how to do it different.
Right.
And that's maybe part of what's motivating me now, is for people to just at least be presented with some ideas or maybe some ways to do things different, because it's so important.
It is. It's vital. And as we were talking earlier, like, I know my kids are watching me. I know that they're paying attention to how am I doing things. And if I just show up in all kinds of a mess, then that's what they're learning. And so I want them to see me taking that breath and holding that space. And even when times are hard, still cooking, because we're going to cook anyway, we have to eat. So am I getting out a jar of peanut butter and a spoon, or am
Which is okay. Sometimes it's
correct,
good fat, right?
Right. But also making sure that I am getting the calories that I need, and that there are, I know it sounds silly, but the different food groups are represented. Are there some vegetables in there? Because that helps. And making sure that I get a proper amount of sleep, and that I get just enough water. Like, those little things all add up, and it makes a huge difference in how we show up.
They do. One of my friends was raised, and I love this about her, that there always had to be some green on the plate. And so I've seen her and she's in her 70s now, and I've seen her as like, what can we put on the plate that's green today, right? But it's a little thing, but it's a big thing.
It is. Yeah, and that actually this year for me has been a game changer because I like vegetables, but now that's most of my plate. I can't tell you how much better I feel. And it was just such a small little thing to change.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And that's kind of the essence of Good Fat Life. We want to be providing those kinds of things where taking exquisite care of yourself doesn't have to be like,
this is so much work.
It's so much work. It can be fun and creative. And how can I make this little shift?
Exactly.
And I love, and that's why it's really important for me to be able to use everything we've got available to let people know about your initiative for moms. Because again, that's another little self-care when you're at a really crossroads in your life, right? Mm-hmm. A really challenging time. And just to be able to get those little, I call them those little smiles, those little things that just make us smile.
I agree. I can't imagine, that type of a situation, but when you are at that place in life and it just seems so hard, and yes, people show up with just the little things that you need, and that it really can be a gift, and it's just like, okay, I just got this, I can take the next step, and I can take the next step, and just keep going, and
right.
Get yourself to a different place, a better place. And that's really the hope. That's the goal. And that's really what La Casa does, is they just come alongside and they hold your hand every step of the way. And I just have to say how much I appreciate everything that they do.
They do. They are incredible. And they're so expansive.
Yes.
Right? So it's not just shelter for women that need it. They've got all kinds of dozens of other programs that are equally impactful. Yes. But also when you're going through, like you had shared, you're going through some real life challenges right now, and these are things that we all end up having to go through, right? There's something that feels so good that when we can give back.
Yes.
And when it takes us out of our own pain a little bit, mm-hmm. and builds that community and shares, and just it's another way to it's another way of self-care for ourselves.
I agree 100%. If we're just standing turned focused on ourselves, we're never going to see anything else. And I know for me, it helps a lot for me to move past some of what I'm dealing with if I can look at someone else and just love on someone else.
Right. We're kind of wired that way, but sometimes we forget it. And
right.
so I just love this. And so I just, like I said, want to shout it to the world, like, let's support those moms. That this is a campaign that's national.
Correct.
So it's not just in Brighton, Michigan.
Correct.
It's national. So if somebody wants to contribute, they could just look up 2 Men in a Truck?
2men.com.
2men.com. Okay.
And then when you get there, you can put in your zip code for your location.
Okay.
And it will bring up your location. And then there is a community partners tab on all of our websites.
Okay.
And so you can go there and you can see who the shelter partner is and find out more details about that campaign and how to help.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. And I love that it's national.
I know.
Right? And so it's accessible for anybody.
Yes.
And I would even just throw out there, if you don't have a 2 Men in a Truck in your location, that you look for a shelter that is in your area, mm-hmm. and make up your own Mother's Day.
You certainly
baskets,
could.
Right?
I would be really surprised if they said no.
Oh, you're right. Right. Just as part of your Mother's Day tribute. Yeah, that's such a cool thing. and it's such an important thing.
It is. Thank you. And thank you for letting me share about it.
Well, thank you for giving me something to talk about in that respect, right? Right. So, and I found myself since being reminded that you're doing this as I'm at home, just thinking, going through, looking at the stuff I use every day and think, what are the things that I use that are absolutely necessary? What of those are like special treats as well?
Right.
Like some of my essential oils and some really lovely lotions and stuff.
And that makes a woman feel, I think it makes us feel good. Like, yes, the deodorant and the toothpaste and the shampoo, like those are essential. You have to have those. But to have a little something, if someone wanted to donate, scented lotions or essential oils, like that's just a special little treat that you're probably not going to have if you are in a shelter. So things like that, I think, really just speak to a woman's heart, and they just feel seen.
Right. And that, at the end of the day, is what it's all about.
Exactly.
Being seen.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I know, like you said, you've got a lot going on in your world, but yet you took the time to be here today, and that is such a gift to all the people that are going to benefit from hearing this and step into putting those baskets and those things together.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So
you're always so sweet.
Well, on that happy note, we invite you to go out and live your good fat life.